So, are you ready to learn the best way to lose weight quickly and for good? So today we're going to unveil what I feel is the best way to lose weight fast and for the long haul. Also, at any time, please feel free to go ahead, click right down below, or head over to midsectionmelt.com to claim your complimentary midsection treatment and your clinical consultation with us, where if we don't deliver you measurable results on the spot, we'll actually pay you $50 for your time. Hey, it's Trevor Buccieri, America's favorite weight loss and targeted fat loss expert. And with my personalized data-driven program, I've helped over 25,000 patients lose well over 500,000 pounds and reshape their midsection, their thighs, and their upper arms. And now I'm here to share these same transformation secrets with you. And in this podcast, I'm going to give you a strategy that you can implement right away to launch your body transformation results. So let's get started. Going through my own weight loss journey since I've been 12 years old and professionally helping over 25,000 patients lose over 500,000 pounds, I've really learned that if there's any best place to start, it's what we actually put in our mouth. Because what is true is that we can never outwork our fork. We can never outrun poor eating habits. In other words, we can't eat everything and all we want, then go to the gym and expect the gym to take care of it. That's what I've learned over massive self-study and multiple attempts of how to do that, is that just does not work. However, there's great news because there is an in-between. There's a way to have our cake and eat it too. And I've studied over 35 different diets and nutrition protocols, which again, if you know anything about me, I don't believe in diets. I believe in clean eating. I believe in taste-centered clean eating, because a diet is so temporary. Immediately we're like, oh gosh, how long am I going to be on this diet? I've been dieting for how long, right? But here's also another takeaway, is that they all work. They all work in their own way. But what I experienced is that the large majority of them, at least the ones that I did, over 35, they're not sustainable for the long haul. And all this said, I set out to create a better alternative for people, because I knew there had to be an intermediate, there had to be a way for people who actually want to lose the weight and be able to actually keep the results without feeling like it's torture to do so. So for me, it needed to be rooted in simplicity. It needed to be, number one, easy to understand, easy to implement, or we won't do it, right? It needs to be taste-centered, or we'll be actually looking for an exit, an exit strategy very, very quickly. Sometimes even not knowing it, it's almost like all of a sudden the excuses come and we actually sabotage it. It needs to be enjoyable, or we won't sustain it. We're going to break. We're going to be kind of nail biting and being like, how much longer? I'm not enjoying this. And it needs to be also very time cognizant, because no one wants to be food prepping all day. Maybe you really enjoy cooking. The large majority of our patients we work with don't, you know what I mean? If you like to, have at it. If you don't want to be food prepping all day, boom, that's what we're talking about here. It needs to actually be prepared in 10 minutes or less, or it's not in our program. So it needs to be taste-centered, taste amazing, and it needs to be able to be prepared in 10 minutes or less. And also another thing is if you have a family, nobody wants to be making two different meals. We were doing that for a while, where it's like, okay, I'm going to make my own food for myself, and then we're going to make food for the family, and that's double the work. And again, is that sustainable? No, it's not. So it needs to be fit into the construct of the family here. Then inside of these foundational principles, it really came down to what is going to deliver the most effective results in the most timely manner. And most importantly, in a way that was sustainable long term, because no one wants to put in work, get their dream body, and then just basically go back to the starting line, right? And start it all over again, and just lose it. No one wants to do that. And what we need to be careful about is this. There's several different factors along the way. Eating too few calories. So basically going into starvation mode is a very, very real thing. So if we're eating, these 400 or 500 calorie, diets that are out there, which yes, you're going to lose weight, but guess what? The large majority of the weight you're actually losing is muscle, because muscle is the most accessible fuel in the body, not fat. We would love it to be, but it takes 4 calories to burn 1 gram of muscle. It takes 9 calories to burn 1 gram of fat. So therefore, the body says muscle's more efficient, so we're going to actually utilize muscle first. So that's why a large majority, when we're on a very, very restrictive diet, the large majority of the weight we're actually losing is muscle. That's why we end up getting into that whole, like I call it skinny fat, where it's like, wow, I lost a lot of weight, but I do not look at all what I thought I would look like. Another thing we need to be careful about is eating enough protein. So protein builds muscle, and muscle is the building block of your metabolism. So the more muscle we have, the more body fat we're actually able to burn 24/7. So for example, if I snap my fingers and you lost 10 pounds of body fat, but gained 10 pounds of muscle, we'd agree that you weigh the exact same that you do, right? But the thing is that you would now actually be able to be burning 500 more calories per day because your metabolic rate went up. All right, so you're actually able to burn more and more and more in your sleep. So that is huge right there, and why we actually need that protein to actually help us maintain that muscle. We can also do that through resistance training as well. There's a lot of different things out there on this in terms of, say, how much protein we need. But I've researched and documented myself, and I definitely feel that there's no need for more than 15 to 20% of our calories coming from protein. Not only sustain muscle, but also to actually build new muscle, which is really the goal here. So there's the whole question process that's coming to my mind right now about, like, well, what about half your body weight or 1 gram? To me, it really comes down to how many calories are we putting into our body and utilizing that 15 to 20%. If we're on a more restricted diet, let's just say we're trying to cut down, lose body fat, we need to make sure we keep our protein high so we actually maintain as much muscle as we can. So again, it comes down to calories. So if we're actually supposed to be eating, for example, 2,500 calories per day, we want to actually be eating 15 to 20% of those calories coming from protein. That's roughly about 375 to 500 calories from protein. And when you divide those by 4, you're looking at 93 to 125 grams. So how do we actually prevent ourselves from losing muscle? All right, that's another one. How do we actually prevent ourselves from losing muscle? We talked about this. Resistance training and making sure we're eating enough protein and enough calories at the end of the day. That is really what we're talking about, what we need to be careful about with this. And I'd also love to leave you with a very simple weight loss solution so you can actually start getting results today. We've all heard of the calorie approach. We've all heard of the macronutrient approach. This will be a very, very simple version of that. It's not necessarily as much about macros today as it is about just calories in general, because people always ask me, like, what do I do if I want to lose weight? What should I be eating? How much should I be eating? So here's a very simple formula. Take your body weight and multiply it by 10, 11, then 12. You're going to come up with 3 numbers. So let's just say you weigh 200 pounds with a goal of losing weight. This would be, when we multiply by 10, 11, and 12, it would be 2,000, 2,200, or 2,400 calories respectively for that day. Now, the low end is for faster results. That would be the 2,000. The higher end would be for results, definitely, but not as quickly. So it wouldn't be as quick of a response because we're not doing as much of a caloric deficit. Now, just like we spoke about before, 15 to 20% of those calories want to be coming from protein. So in this case, we're talking between 75 and 120 grams of protein per day. And the rest is actually going to be coming from carbohydrates and fat. As long as you stay in those ranges, you're in the right track. So we don't have to overcomplicate it. You can actually get started right there. And as long as you're staying in those ranges and hitting your protein and making sure the rest of it is staying within those caloric confines, you're good to go. So there you have it. Now you know what I feel is the best way to lose weight quickly and for good. Thank you so much for joining me. Go ahead and click right down below or head over to midsectionmelt.com to claim your complimentary midsection treatment and your clinical consultation with us, where if we don't deliver you measurable results on the spot, we'll actually pay you $50 for your time. Also, I'd so appreciate if you'd please follow or subscribe. Again, I'm Trevor Buccieri. Thank you so much for investing your time with me, and give your best to the rest of your day.